Welcome back to 1001 Business Problems Solved with Microsoft Teams. Today's episode is going to feel a little different and very intentional, because this episode is not about introducing something brand new out of nowhere. It's about connecting the dots across the last several episodes, recapping how our thinking around strategy has evolved, and explaining why we've landed where we have. If you've been listening along, this episode should feel like a deep exhale. And if you're just joining us, this will give you a clean mental model you can use right away. I'm Annie Rind, and I bring you a 6-minute solution every Monday, and today I'm going to turn you on to what we've decided is far and away the best way to convert your Copilot strategy development sessions into something very useful to you and your organization. Let's rewind for a moment. Back in episode 98, we talked about doing strategy work with Copilot in a Word document. And I want to be very clear about something up front. That approach is still valid. Using Copilot and Word for strategy is a great option when you want a linear document, you're drafting a narrative strategy, you need something formal or shareable, or you're most comfortable thinking one page at a time. Copilot combined with Word is calm, structured, and excellent at helping you reason through ideas inside a traditional document. So nothing we say today invalidates that. Then something new happened. After episode 98, we experimented with Copilot Notebooks. And like many of you, we were excited. Notebooks gave us a focused thinking space, strong summaries, grounded reasoning, and a feeling of sitting down with Copilot to really work. For a while, we started using notebooks for almost everything, including strategy. And that experimentation was important, because over time, a pattern emerged. Notebooks were excellent for project work, internal documentation, process design, and work where almost all the relevant information already lived inside our organization. We found that notebooks struggle with strategy, however, not because they're bad tools, but because of how they're designed. Here's the key limitation we ran into. Notebooks only know what you attach to them. They don't pull best practices from the web. They don't draw on broader Copilot knowledge. They don't pressure test your thinking against how other organizations approach similar problems. For projects, that's a solid feature. You're not building strategy so much when you're managing a project. But for strategy, such a limitation is a constraint. And once we saw that clearly, we stopped forcing notebooks to be something they aren't. So here's where we are right now, and this isn't a tentative position. We've tested this thoroughly. We've used these tools across real leadership work, real client engagements, and real business decisions. And the pattern has held. Use Copilot Notebooks for project work. Use Copilot Pages for strategy work. Period. Hard stop. That's not a guess. That's not hype. That's experience. Notebooks are calm, grounded, and excellent when the goal is execution. Pages are expansive, connective, and powerful when the goal is direction. And that brings us to the real focus of today's episode. Why pages are different. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Pages are where Copilot is allowed to think broadly. Unlike notebooks, pages let Copilot pull from your files, emails, chats, and meetings. They understand relationships between linked pages and draw on broader Copilot knowledge, including web-based context and best practices. That combination makes pages uniquely suited for the following: strategic planning, option comparison, decision support, synthesis across messy inputs, and leadership-level thinking. Not because pages are better tools, but because they're designed for a different job. If notebooks are where work gets done, pages are where direction gets set. For most people, pages don't click because of a list of features. They click when you see Copilot do something that would normally require multiple meetings, a whiteboard session, or hours of prep work. That moment usually looks like this. You open a page. You drop in a document or two. You link another page. And then you ask a big, slightly uncomfortable question like, what are we missing? And Copilot answers calmly, clearly, and holistically, pulling from everything it can see and what it knows. That's when pages stop feeling like software. They start feeling like a thinking environment. One of the best ways to find pages is inside the Copilot desktop app. When you create one, you're not creating a document in the traditional sense. You're creating a living workspace. Pages are basically flexible workspaces, kind of like digital notepads that can grow with you. Here's the simple version. A page can stand on its own, like a fresh sheet of paper. You can link one page to another, like saying, see page 12 in a binder. You can drop in files, notes, or things Copilot should pay attention to. And you don't have to finish a page, you just keep adding to it as things evolve. The easiest way to imagine them is this. Pages are like a set of connected notes on a kitchen table during a team meeting. You spread them out, move between them, make updates, and everything stays related. You don't have to understand anything technical. If you can link two ideas together on paper, you can link pages. Next week, we'll go deeper, but for now, just know that pages act more like a simple system of connected notes than a complicated tool. Why this matters for leaders? Pages reduce the friction of strategy. They make messy thinking usable and allow leaders to explore options before they harden into decisions. Instead of strategy living in slide decks, hallway conversations, or half-remembered meetings, it lives in a page. And the strategy stays alive. Before episode 103, I want you to do just one thing. Create one page for a real initiative. Make sure you display the chat window on the left of the page. Talk to Copilot in the chat. Watch it build your summary and strategy in the page on the right. It's a beautiful thing to watch. But don't perfect it. Don't turn it into a template. Don't invite the whole team yet. Just try it. Because once you experience how pages support strategic thinking, the rest will come naturally. In next week's episode, we're getting hands-on. We'll build a real page system step by step, how pages link together, how teams use them, and how this turns into a repeatable leadership habit. Pages are not hype. They're simply the best place for strategy to live, and I doubt that's going to change, even though you should never say never when it comes to Copilot and AI. The tools are evolving so fast that it's hard to keep up with the best way to do anything. Regardless, if you're attempting to keep up with things, and we're trying hard here at the podcast to help you keep up, you're definitely going to be ahead of your competition. So, until next Monday, this is Annie signing off. I'll see you next time, and I want you to have at least one experimental page under your belt. Have a great week.